Hello friends, how are you today? It smells amazing here because someone cut the baby redwoods, see? Redwoods grow from their base and they send up shoots. They also have seeds, but they mostly grow from the base, I guess. But it smells really good, and there's an owl hooting in the background, so you might hear that. I don't know if you will. But it's pretty wonderful out. The natural environment. It feels so good. It feels so good today. So I wanted to talk to you about energy and tell a personal story. There's a lot going on in the electromagnetic environment. I'm here to talk about our human experience. The Schumann resonance has had really strange images, really red, a lot of red on the chart, and like red waves, which are always interesting. We have had, when I looked prior to making this video, we had 15 M-class solar flares in the last 3 days and 1 X-class. And most recently, the last couple days, the M-class have been really high, like even almost X-class. So the energy from the sun coming in is really strong. The third thing that's going on is the astrology. I'm recording this on Wednesday, July 31st, and yesterday the sun conjuncted exact Varuna. Varuna is an interesting asteroid. It's the Hindu god of the sea, but there's a really strong justice element with him. For example, he binds sinners. He binds those who have done egregious acts against God. And he brings justice in doing so. Now, what's super interesting is that the sun, having aspected Pluto when it was at 0 of Leo, and when Pluto was at 0 Aquarius, the sun brings Pluto's energy to the aspect with justice. And what does that mean? And I think this is the reason for so much red on the chart, on the Schumann. It brings out the darkest, deepest secrets for every individual. It brings up, in a way, the worst of the worst. The good news is that the sun is carrying Varuna's energy through the rest of Leo for the next 3 weeks or so. But the thing is this, the meaning of the degree at which Varuna sits at the moment is the manifested degree. So the energy is manifested. That degree, the Sabian symbol, is a communist activist speaking out his ideals, his or her ideals in this case. And you are seeing that live on the screen every single day right now. You're seeing a representation of what's to come if that energy that is manifested in this moment, if that energy evolves. Or it may not, okay? It's up to us to determine what our choice is. But what the sun with Pluto's influence is going to do, because it's still directly opposing Pluto, but it's going to bring that energy to every degree of Leo as it goes through. So it will affect every individual. And what the sun is going to do is dig up for every individual some of their deepest, darkest stuff and their secrets. You know, the areas that we tried to hide from ourselves. And I think that this is what is going on with the solar flares. So I think there's an understanding generally that a huge percentage of the population, at least in this country, the USA, probably around the world, has been waking up to the truth of the world and the truth of our culture, what's happened here, our government, our laws, like what is going on with the whole shebang. And I think that what's happening with this sun activation, all of the M and X class flares, is that you cannot avoid this energy. This is here for all people. All humans on the globe are affected by it. It's a great awakening of solar proportions. And I want to explain how the energy of that works. In my view, and it's scripture, everything is created by God, by the creator of all, that is. And so God made the sun, God made the planets. And so the sun is almost like a living representation of life force. It is. It gives us life. We need it to live, to grow plants and all this kind of thing. But it's a representation of the soul. And so the spiritual meanings of this are important, and they're important at the unconscious and subconscious levels and energy. And that's where this solar energy works us. Can you guys see the nature spirits behind me? I can, as I'm recording this. Let me thank them for their presence. It's pretty cool. Thank you for being here. So I want to switch in the gratitude for this moment and tell a short personal story. We can do the work, but if we don't do the work will get done for us in the way that is for us, for our soul purpose, our soul plan. And I had a personal experience of this on early Monday morning. When I looked at my chart with the energies, I thought, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. But what happened is that I had a vagus nerve activation in my brain. And I work a lot with vagus nerve energy. People talk about it, but I've been actively working with it for over a decade. And what I have concluded is that there are various ways that the soul, the life force that we are, the spark of divinity that is truly who we are and is in each one of us, that the soul communes with us and with the body in various ways. I usually talk about the energy, how the soul activation point is in the heart. But what I've concluded is that, God, the soul, the truth of who we are, our deepest spiritual guidance from that level, communes with us physically as well. One of the places is the vagus nerve. One of the places is the hormones of the body. And this is why the hormones, as we were born with them, are so precious. They are precious. And they give us access to divinity in very specific ways for each of us, depending on how we were born, male or female, with those hormones, able to be activated later in life, activated at the time to whatever extent. And I have a very deep personal experience and lived experience of this. But I won't go into that now. But what happened was the vagus nerve in my brain, I've never had an activation there. And so the vagus nerve went off in my brain early Monday morning. And since that happened, I've been recovering. spiritually and energetically, there are certain steps that I take, and I know what to do. But let me just say here, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here now. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I can speak to you and there's no problems with me doing that. I'm grateful for what I let go of in that moment, because I was beset by certain very old things that I was very much having difficulty disconnecting from the past. And when you're talking about levels at the unconscious or subconscious, when you're talking about energies that are even what I would call at the chaos level, energies that are in the subtle fields that can be manipulated and that we can claim dominion over. And I've been claiming dominion over these levels for I don't know how long now. And what I found is that eventually, if I really mean it and I do the work, then God answers you. It manifests. My soul will give me an opportunity to heal and to up level. And that is what happened on Monday. But I have to say, I'm still healing from it. And in the past, before I took 9 months off, I would have probably stopped writing and making videos for weeks after something like this. But instead, I'm giving myself 3 days to rest, because it wasn't, it's by God's grace. By God's grace, it was manageable. I'm talking to you right now. Hopefully I seem fine. Except for, the woo-woo topics that I discuss being unusual to some. But I'm grateful. And I also want to say that I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the messages that you send me, whether they're by direct message or comments on my social media. You can send me a direct message on X, and you can send me a direct message on Substack that's private. If you do that, and it's polite, and then I'm happy to speak with you there. And I do enjoy talking to people, and there are people that over several years have messaged me, and it's just beautiful. Thank you very much. It's sometimes it's amazing that I think that God put me here at this time, and I knew that I was going to get teary. I think that it's amazing that God put me here and gave me the knowledge 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now. He gave me visions, from the level of my soul. I would wake up going back to 2012. I had experiences with energy before that, but going back to 2012, I would wake up and I would have visions and visions and visions from 2 to 4 in the morning. And the thing is because I remember many past lives, I understood the visions from that context, from the context of, oh yeah, I see how that works, because I remember being a scientist in past lives with higher technology than exists today in the public. But anyway, so I'm grateful to be here now. I love it. I love you, my audience, and I deeply appreciate your sharing the love back with me. I want to let you know that I'm doing more detailed videos on my paid Substack membership and my YouTube membership. The fact of the matter is, for me to keep doing this, it has to be that way. and I appreciate any support that you give me. What I have done is made the pricing very reasonable. So I hope that that works for you. I also want to let you know that I do sessions, and I'm doing sessions. They are transformational astrology, but I also can read the field with your permission. A lot of information will come through these sessions. And I'll tell you the 3 areas I focus on. Number 1, the transformational aspect. Like if there's something in your life going on that you want to change, or you want to understand, or you would like strategy for. That happens to be something I'm very good at. In my former life, I advised CEOs, CFOs, please don't be intimidated to contact me. I've had that experience where people want to talk to me, but then they don't want to. And I'm just like a regular person that you would see at the grocery store walking by, that seems like, a regular lady like me. That's, not, that's friendly. And so transformational, I do soul levels. So if you want to know your soul purpose, you want to get more clarity, you would like assistance and guidance on rolling things out in your life, I love doing that. I do business-oriented consultations along that line as well. And the third is timing. If there's timing in your life, and I recently worked with someone who I know is going to watch this video, but where they have an event, it's very important for them. And so we looked at the astrology of when the notification of the event was received, the current moment, and the timing of when a certain thing is going to happen, and developed strategy based on her competencies. We talked about how to bring up her weaknesses into strengths. And we just looked at all the energies involved and what was going on. And that is a timing is something that I'm good at. And whether it's near term or longer term, because in deep gratitude, my astrology teacher, who has 40 years experience and worked with me, I can't even tell you the number of hours that she is. It's in the thousands, okay, that we've worked together. And I'm incredibly blessed. But one of the things that was very important to her was that I learn certain advanced skill sets. And I still am learning from her. And once in a while she'll call me up and say, okay, now I need to teach you this. And I'm really grateful for this. And I've also determined that in past lives I had 2 major lifetimes as an advanced astrologer. And once I followed my spiritual guidance exactly, I did what I was instructed to do. There's always tests with these things, and all of it came online. I started to remember things about that. So, and I'm super grateful for this as well. So, how do we deal with these energies? Gratitude, doing the work, allowing, and in the moments when that Uranus energy comes in and just a sudden event happens, staying faithful to your belief in that divinity, your own soul, God, the creator, use your words, but at the most high, back to the source that you are, the source of your soul, that you are protected, that no matter what is occurring, your highest good is unfolding, and that you are loved in every moment. What's happening in the moment is not a reflection of you. Forgive yourself. Whatever you've done, if you even think that you really have done something that needs to be forgiven, I'm going to talk about this in more depth in my membership areas, but Eris and Lilith are both at 0 degrees of declination right now. Most astrologers don't look at this, but at 0 degrees of declination, I mean, I'm still having a little trouble with details, which is why it's going to be hard to write the article I want to write today, but I'm committed. We'll see. I'll follow my guidance. But at 0 degrees of declination for both Lilith and Eris, what this means is that there is a starting over of our history that is possible. And now I know, when I know the astrologers that helped certain people set up this whole theme that's, being advocated to us in the world. I know that's one of the things that they were looking at. And here's the thing. Eris, the goddess of chaos, destruction, discord. Well, let me tell you something. We all have her aspected in our chart, okay? When I do a chart, I will look at this for you. And I am very familiar with her energy. And it's powerful, okay? But let me quote my teacher on this. Eris comes in to fuck shit up that ain't right. So, if there's something not right in your life, and that gets activated, it's because something's not right and it has to be healed. Like divinity wishes through the chaos that results to set things right. That's number one. Number two, chaos can be used as a strategy. In fact, the dismantling of something needs to happen before something better can happen many times. And if you have memories of Atlantis, this is something that I really came to understand in healing those for myself. But, a lot of people in the area where I live buy houses that are old and then completely knock them down and rebuild them. And they make usually something beautiful. And sometimes they just, don't knock them down, but they really, they take the history and they build it into something just incredibly beautiful, and they remake it in alignment where they build that up to be sort of the most beautiful way of expressing what it was meant to be. And you see that the destruction was necessary. What it had grown into wasn't a proper reflection. And then let's talk about Lilith. I think I'm going to do a course on this coming up, okay? So if you're interested in working with me at a lower rate where we spend a few weeks together, I'm going to initiate that soon. But I want to talk about Algol and Lilith because that's the energy that was activated of the next 2 years. And friends, it's just so potent. It's so amazing. And this is the opportunity to move out of our shadow self and become who we truly are. And with Lilith at 0, it's in the sun, going through Leo, every degree of Leo with Pluto's energy. It's like God saying, here, offering up the energy to us on a platter, saying, here, transform your life. Change yourself in the way you desire. Become the soul-centered, sovereign, energetically independent being you are always meant to be.